Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. Today we are talking about the 3 missing abilities within Destiny 2. Well, what exactly am I talking about? Across every subclass, on every class, each one has 4 aspects to choose from. Solar Warlock has Hellion, which is its newest addition, and then it has had Icarus Dash, Touch of Flame, and Heat Rises since it became a 2.0 subclass. Stranded Titan has Dranger's Lash, Into the Fray, Flechette Storm, and Banner of War. Void Hunter has its newest addition on the Prowl. Then it has Vanishing Step, Trapper's Ambush, and Stylus Executioner. This pattern of 4 aspects continues to every subclass on every class, like I had just said, but not really. Solar Hunter, Void Warlock, and Solar Titan only have 3 aspects. So today I want to talk about the gap in this pattern, why it's almost guaranteed that this will be filled, and then what they could be or what role these new sandbox tools can occupy. Starting with why it's pretty likely that we'll be getting 3 new aspects sometime soon, the first piece of evidence is that it's just asymmetrical right now. It doesn't really make sense to give 90% of the subclasses in this game 4 aspect options to choose from and leave out just 3. If that isn't enough to convince you, then we also have the cadence at which we've been receiving our newest aspects. We got 3 new aspects with the launch of the final shape. Those were Hellion for Solar Warlock, Ascension for Arc Hunter, and Unbreakable for Void Titan. Those did remain the only new aspects until 2 seasons later when we got the release of Episode Heresy. With that release, we got On the Prowl for Void Hunter, Ionic Sentry for Arc Warlock, and Storm's Keep for Arc Titan. Now, what does this cadence tell us? Well, the first thing is that we should be getting them soon, and as well, it's not surprising that we haven't seen them yet. If we go off of the release schedule of every other major update, we wouldn't have gotten them during Edge of Fate, and we should instead see them in Renegades. And if not then likely either in the mid DLC update or with the next major DLC, that being the Shattered Cycle. But looking at the data, I definitely bet on sooner. From a PR standpoint, new abilities also bring attention to the game. They've had trailers for all the new aspects thus far, and if there's one thing Destiny needs right now, it's people playing. So add that to the list of reasons why this will be done and why it should be soon. However, to play devil's advocate, there is one such precedent that argues against what I'm saying here. The last time we got new aspects, which was Episode Heresy, we didn't get any exotic armor. And just recently, we got the exotic armor trailer for Renegades, so we know for sure that we are getting some. But if that remains a restriction, then there's a chance they would not do new aspects alongside the armor, but these new DLCs are supposed to be bigger than episodes and seasons, so that really shouldn't be an excuse they can use. Now, moving on from predicting why and when we would get these new aspects, I want to talk about what is missing from each subclass with a design space perspective. What I mean by this is going through each missing slot and asking ourselves what would make the most sense to be added there. I could never predict what the new aspects will actually be. They could be a million things, but we can make educated guesses on what gameplay areas the new aspects will fill, like whether an aspect could be focused around grenade, melees, or supers, or team support, for example. So starting with our missing Solar Hunter aspect, what makes the most sense here? Well, the first thing we need to look at is at what this subclass already has. Gunpowder Gamble is a grenade and kill focus aspect, while also giving us a totally new ability in the form of the iconic Dynamite Stick. Knock 'em Down is a super ability focus aspect with a secondary effect that benefits our knives, which is our melees, allowing us to refund them with themselves. And then lastly, we have On Your Mark, which is a weapon and support based aspect that aligns heavily with the identity of Gunslinger. So what spaces does this leave open? Well, we have aspects that cover grenades, melees, and supers. And if we take a hint from other hunter subclasses, Solar Hunters are missing an aspect that augments or relies heavily on the class ability. Stasis Hunters have Winter's Shroud to slow on dodge. Strand Hunter have clones on dodge with Threaded Spectre. Arc Hunter has Ascension with their dodge, and Void Hunters have dodge to go invis. Solar Hunter is missing that type of aspect. So I'd expect the missing ability here to follow suit. Perhaps the new aspect could work by turning our dodge into some kind of damaging ability like Ascension, but this time it's a kick or something. But if it follows the Gunslinger fantasy, it could be something that consumes our dodge to enhance our weapons more so than just the Radiant dodge. Like maybe even a way to mark enemies and use that Deadeye ability from Red Dead Redemption. I could definitely see something like that happening. Now moving on to Warlocks, here a 4th Void aspect is missing. Present on the Voidwalker subclass, we have Feed the Void, which is a self-buffing aspect with massive healing and ability gains. We have Chaos Accelerant, which is focused on enhancing our grenades. And then we have Child of the Old Gods, which alters our class ability while fulfilling the Warlock buddy fantasy. So from an ability perspective, that leaves our melee to be augmented by an aspect. I do want to mention here though, it doesn't have to be melee focused at all. I don't know about you guys, but Pocket Singularity isn't very iconic. But to make an educated guess, it comes down to finding a pattern that is missing with a Void Warlock and present on the other subclasses. Although here it gets quite a bit harder than it was to find one with Hunter. The only two classes that have any real melee emphasis are Strand with the Weavewalk aspect and Arc with Lightning Surge. There are matching aspects for the current 3 Void Warlock options, like when it comes to class ability focuses, that being Child of the Old Gods, Solar has Hellion, Arc has Arc Soul, Stasis has Frost Pulse, and Strand has Weaver's Call. And that pattern continues with the other aspects. But then, all of the other Warlock subclasses have some unique thing to them. Solar Warlock has Icarus Dash, which is just for movement. Arc Warlock has Ionic Sentry, which is an ability override. Stasis Warlock has Glacial Harvest, which pertains just to Stasis Shards. And Strand Warlock has the Wanderer, which is just really doing with Strand Tangles. If I had to guess something outside of just an aspect that augments our melee, I would expect a new Voidwalker aspect to feed into the missing Void verb on the subclass, that being Void Overshield. Perhaps the new aspect will either cause our melee to do something when we have a Void Overshield, or perhaps it turns our melee into something that gives us Void Overshield. Like I could totally see a world where our Pocket Singularity gets turned into a tether that we attach to enemies by hitting them with a melee, and then we get to siphon a Void Overshield from them. Something like that, but let me know what you think down below. And now finally, we have Solar Titans and their missing aspect. On the subclass, we start with Roaring Flames, which is all about general buffs, those being increasing all ability damage. Then we have Consecration, which is a melee override, fulfilling the space of an override ability as well as dipping into melee. Then we have Soul Invictus, which is another holistic aspect that gives them the unique Sunspot's passive ability. It does, however, feed quite a bit into our supers, giving that space some investment too. So where does that leave Solar Titans? Well, similar to Solar Hunters, they lack something that goes all into their class ability. Taking a cue from our other subclasses, Void Titan has Bastion, Arc Titan has the newest Storm's Keep aspect, Strand Titan gets a Dranger's Lash, and Stasis Titan has actually nothing to do with class abilities. But a vast majority of Titan subclasses have some kind of class ability focused aspect, and Solar Titans still don't. With that said, now is a good time to remind you guys that Bungie could totally come out of left field with something for Titans, or any class for that matter. Like acting similar to Stasis Titan's Cryoclasm that improves their slide, Solar Titan could leave pools of fire under them whenever they double jump. That's a possibility. And that can be the case for all 3 missing aspects that we've covered today. Maybe Golden Gun Hunter gets throwing cards instead of a dodge, and maybe Void Warlock can resurrect enemies. There are a lot of things that could be done, but I hope the insight and thought process I presented today let you think for yourself and what might be coming soon. And with that, thank you for getting this far into the video. Your viewership is greatly appreciated. If you want to support me, support the channel, a like, a comment, a subscription goes a very long way. If you want to support me and support the channel but you can't think of a comment down below, where are they, Bungie? With that, as usual, I hope you are having a great day, and I hope to see you around.